Welcome, and I'm so glad that we found each other. If you would like to jump ahead to your sign's monthly tarot read, check the timestamps in the description below. I highly encourage you to check both your sun sign and your rising sign. A quick disclaimer before we begin. Tarot is for entertainment purposes only. Tarot is not meant to replace real mental health professionals or licensed therapists. If you or someone that you know is struggling, I've listed resources in the description below. Since it's July 2026, that puts us squarely in Cancer season. So, water signs, that is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, we are going to start with you. For all spreads today, we'll be doing a classic 10-card Celtic Cross for our read. It would appear, water signs, that your question has to do with love. If that resonates with you, this message is for you. The situation at present, the Tower reversed. Your obstacles, the Five of Pentacles upright. What crowns you? The Six of Swords. What grounds you? The Nine of Wands reversed. What you're moving away from? The Six of Pentacles reversed. What you're moving toward? The Five of Swords. How you feel about the situation is the Queen of Wands. Your environment and how others see the situation, Four of Swords. Your hopes and your fears, the Four of Wands reversed. And your ultimate outcome is the Six of Cups. So the first thing that sticks out to me in this spread is that you have 3 sixes that occur, which means success. So good for you, whatever it is that you're thinking about with regard to this loving relationship or love in your life is quite successful. Moreover, you have 2 4s and 2 5s as well. So it feels as though there's been a lot of foundation built, also a lot of challenges and obstacles that have arisen, perhaps with the things that you thought were true, the things that you thought would be steadfast in your life. You've moved through challenges and now you're coming into a new place of feeling more successful, more satiated, maybe a little bit calmer after a lot of things that you have been through. So, from a numerological standpoint, it feels very much like you're right in the middle of a journey or squarely in act 2 of whatever this thing is. Furthermore, diving a little bit more deeply, there is only one major arcana card, the Tower, which is where you're at present. And it's not only the Tower, it is the Tower reversed. What this means is that the cataclysm that the Tower usually carries with it is somewhat softened. If you think or look at the card and see how things are falling from the top of the Tower down, right? When you flip it upside down, those people falling out of the top have a very soft landing and only a few inches to fall. Something that you know needed to come to an end or that you know wasn't working was able to draw to a close, but had a softer landing. It didn't have quite this cataclysmic boom that you might have feared or expected. The obstacle over the Tower is financial destitution. Perhaps there was a lot of money that was put out, or whatever had to come to an end felt like it also carried financial implications with it. Again, we're talking about love. So if there was a significant relationship that came to an end, be it a romantic one or even a work relationship, needing to walk away from something where there was perhaps financial stability and now there isn't so much, or there's a fear that this financial stability that you so craved from certain relationships that you thought would be a guarantee that's just not there. This is perhaps something you're really struggling with. How do I move forward and what are my next steps if I'm suddenly faced with financial hardship? Or what do I do if this happens again? This also could be more reflective of an internal concern and an internal monologue about being scared of not having enough. And that's why it took you so long to kind of tear off the band-aid of moving past something or bringing something to a close. What crowns you? So things that you might not be aware of, but this is larger karma over the situation, is the Six of Swords. So there's a healing element to this card. It's moving on from more turbulent waters or turbulent times into a place of more healing. And in this particular deck, there is that symbol of healing in the top right corner, which I rather like. It also can relate to travel as well. Might be going on a trip as a palate cleanser to move on from kind of this ending. So looking forward to a healing vacation seems to be well deserved and perhaps within your immediate reach. What grounds you? So these are things that you are aware of, and it is the Nine of Wands reversed. The Nine of Wands is about not being able to protect every single part of your life. You can't micromanage everything. You can't defend every single one of your positions. In this deck, what's interesting is that there's a lion behind this person. It's like there's always going to be something a little bit unknown that might sneak up on you, and you just have to be ready for it, but you'll never be fully ready for it. Trying as best you can to defend the position that you have, but also being mindful that not every single thing can be micromanaged and protected. Loosen your grip a little bit. If you don't, you're just going to be hanging on so tightly. Your hands are going to get fatigued anyway, and then you're going to let everything go. Better to protect what you can than try to cover too much ground and not be able to actually get done what you need to get done. What you're moving away from, the Six of Pentacles, but it is in the reversal position. The Six of Pentacles is about benevolence. It's about receiving funds or financial windfalls from other people. I think in this deck, it's very interesting because it showcases this individual under a moon. So it's kind of like it shows the seasonality and the waxing and the waning of finances. There's a time to give, there's a time to take, right? There's a full moon and there's a new moon as well. So we're constantly moving through the cycles of life where we're on the giving end of something and we're on the receiving end of something. With the card in reversal in the recent past, perhaps there was a lot of giving that was happening. Someone was giving to you. Again, maybe this is why you're so afraid of the financial destitution or destitution has been a blocker with bringing something to an end. Someone was very benevolent, always giving to you, always helping you with your coin and helping you get what you need. And maybe that relationship had to come to an end. This ending is kind of doubled down with the Five of Swords in the future position. The Five of Swords has a Machiavellian air of kind of deceit to it. The Five of Swords talks about how sometimes conflict is unavoidable in this life. It will just happen. And not all dissension between people is a bad thing. Sometimes discomfort helps us to grow. It helps us to know that we need to evolve. But this individual who's laid out in a pentagram being held down by five swords, in this deck, it has sort of a barren symbolism to it. It really shows that this person is alone and kind of pinned to the ground with their own thoughts and their own actions, and they're not able to pull themselves out of things. The grace of this Six of Pentacles has kind of gone by the wayside, and now you're probably going to be on your own to have to figure things out and to help yourself move forward. In taking this as a whole, what I would say is that moving on from people who maybe held you back by using finances to manipulate relationships or withholding material things to kind of get what they want from you, you don't need to satiate that. And don't feel the temptation to go back to those relationships that held you back through manipulation. I think a healing trip is going to be a beautiful way for you to move past that which no longer serves you and to move past that which you've outgrown. And there's some really positive aspects that are coming and that are in your environment that will kind of pull you out of this circumstance that maybe didn't feel so nice with another individual. How you feel about the situation, the Queen of Wands, you are in your healing era. I mean, the Queen of Wands is a fiery queen. She's the most down to earth. She's probably the easiest one to really connect with. I mean, Wands is fire. So Queen of Wands has this inherent warmth to her and someone you want to be around, but definitely not someone you want to mess with because, again, they have that internal fire going on. But the queens have a connection to water. They have a connection to their intuition. So even when she's feeling fiery, she's also still connected to this more maternal and caring plane. So I feel like this is allowing you to find your inner backbone and find your inner fire to overcome and to push past things that were not working for you with people that were trying to goad you into something through manipulative tactics, through mental games, mind games, through money games, etc., and it's making you feel like there's just not enough of you to go around and you just can't do it all right. Well, you can do it right. You can do it right. And there's a positive, restful, meditative environment for you to move into to connect with people that will help you discover those parts of yourself that just want to hang out with you, that just want to share space with you, that don't want anything from you other than to like drink tea and hang out in the desert or whatever. I mean, the Four of Swords is the rest card. It's the meditation card. I mean, there's always a threat. I mean, they might be taking a little respite and a little break, but they need to watch their backs because in the desert, you sort of never know what's going to happen. But it is a moment of pause and rest and reflection. And the mental rest is needed after kind of these mind games and these challenges that you had to deal with this individual. Hopes and fears, Four of Wands, but it is in the reversal position. The Four of Wands upright is a card of balance. It's oftentimes the marriage card. Because this has come up in the chapter that is love in your life, if you're a water sign, there might have been a breakup of a significant relationship that means like you're not going down the aisle, you're not moving forward with the marriage, you're not moving forward with the relationship. But notice how free this individual and how balanced this individual is in the card. In spite of maybe things getting turned upside down, they're still able to make a beautiful shape with their body. They're still able to make beautiful things. And I do believe that there's room for journey. The pyramids in the background in most of these cards indicates a journey moving forward, exploring, finding deeper self, deeper meaning, connecting. There's an opportunity here, even if you're not getting something from a relationship that you wanted, that doesn't mean that you can't cultivate internal balance with yourself, particularly since you have two fours side by side. You've got this Four of Wands reversed saying, maybe the balance isn't here right now, but if you rest, you'll be able to restore your coffers and to be able to find yourself back upright again. What's really interesting in this imagery is that we have the Six of Swords, but looking at me, it's facing away. And then you have the Four of Wands reversed facing away as well. These two dancers, they're assuming the same position, but facing away from one another, both in the middle of their respective element, right? We talked about you, the seeker, being this Queen of Wands character. So it's like, it really is time to move on. It's like both sides understand that maybe it was fun and it felt good, but it just wasn't sustainable. It wasn't going to work. Where do we ultimately end up with all of this? Six of Cups. What a loving image here. So I just talked about how you have the two people facing away from one another, but there also seems to be a synthesis of two people coming toward one another as well. So could be possible that there's forgiveness happening with the person at present, or something new altogether that fulfills you and brings you back to your inner child. Something that makes your heart sing in a way that it hasn't in a really long time. And remember that we talked about the Six of Swords being all about journey. Well, they're right next to each other in this particular spread. So the fact that the sixes are right by each other and that the woman seems to be in the middle receiving all of this loving energy, I feel like this is a positive omen that, yeah, you might have had to move out of some relationships and some mental games that weren't serving you. It felt really challenging. It felt really trapping and like you let yourself get manipulated, but you are stronger than that. You're more powerful than that. You just need to rest and call yourself back to you and reconnect with your inner child and allow people in that allow you to connect with your inner child. If you find this reading useful, please consider liking and subscribing. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, this is your read. My air signs, your question came up in the money and finances category. At present, the Five of Pentacles. Your obstacles, the Queen of Wands reversed. What crowns you? The Five of Cups. What grounds you? The Nine of Pentacles. What you're moving away from? The Two of Swords. What you're moving toward? The Nine of Swords. Where you are at present? Death. Your environment around you? The Nine of Wands reversed. Your hopes and fears? The Prince of Cups reversed. And your ultimate outcome? The Ten of Wands reversed. The first thing I see as I look at this spread are you have three nines. What that means is there's going to be one last hiccup in whatever it is you're trying to do with your finances before success is had. So let's go ahead and look a little bit more deeply. In addition to the three nines, we have one major arcana card. So most of this is going to be dealt with on a day-to-day level, not necessarily major dominoes tipping over in your life, even if it feels like everything is a really, really big deal. This will probably be a thing of the past soon enough. With your question came up in the pile about finances, and you at present is the Five of Pentacles. So there's a real fear about financial destitution. There maybe is some money stuff going on, and that's why you're asking the question and why you're so focused on finances, is that there's a lot of fear around it. But help is just on the other side of the wall. In the classic deck, all of these folks are featured outside of a church, which indicates that benevolence and assistance is close by. On the obstacle blocking you, this Queen of Wands, there might be a actual person standing in the way of your money, or someone with a really fiery, a kind of aggressive personality that's been in your ear, either blocking your money, criticizing you about money, making you worry about money, making you think that you're not doing enough. It's causing a lot of anxiety. Karmically, the thing that is concerning to you, the Five of Cups, boy, there's a lot of emotions that are also tied into money for you. There seems to be a real inability to see things looking up. This is a season of winter for you, even though we're very much in the summertime. I do wonder if perhaps moving yourself away from someone that's in your ear about how much you aren't doing won't help to right this wrong or make this situation more manageable, because whoever this person is really does not seem to be giving you positive reinforcement in any way, shape, or form that's actually helping you. What's grounding you is the Nine of Pentacles. You might have had a fantasy that financially you were going to be much farther along than you actually are, that you were supposed to be promised a windfall, or you were supposed to get this big sum of money that wasn't happening for you. Maybe this Queen of Wands, maybe this powerful personality blocked something to do with your money, and now you're feeling really sorry for yourself. I would encourage you to just trust the fact, again, with those three nines, saying this is kind of a final push before everything comes into fruition that's supposed to. Trust the fact that things are going to balance themselves out. What you're moving away from, you perhaps made a really big decision and you're concerned that you made the wrong one, especially because energetically you're kind of moving into a lot of anxiety. With that said, there might be this buyer's remorse a little bit, this fear of promises that were made but not promises kept. And it is like you're really saying, like, what have I done? What have I done? This is not what it was supposed to be. I was told it was going to be this one way, and now it's not this way. And it's really messing up the plans that I had for myself and the way that I set myself up. It's like, it's mentally cataclysmic right now, and you might be feeling like death, maybe not literally, but you might be feeling like, this, I cannot do this cannot happen, this is not what it's going to be, I need to transform, I need to transmute this, I'm not doing this. And an air sign makes up their mind about something, it's like that's all there is to it. Mentally, you're very astute, so it's almost like, you know, you're smarter than this. You're smarter than something that happened, and you're just maybe pissed off that you let it get to this point. How others feel about this situation, people want you to loosen your grasp. They want you to loosen your grasp because they're like, you're trying to do everything and you can't. Of course, this happened because you can't control everything. When you want to control everything, you you want to control everything so bad. It's you're pulling your hair out trying to control things. You can't control everything. You really just, you can't do it. And the Prince of Cups in the reversal position, this very austere looking individual, the Prince of Cups in reverse is emo. This person is so upset. So you might be writing mad poetry. You might be writing just angry, sad messages to yourself, to your friends. It's like sending sad memes. This is like sad message energy. This is doom scrolling. This is all the things because you're so upset. You're so upset anyway. You're like, I may as well just go all in. I'm just going to go all in and I'm going to get all the way mad about it. Take your foot off the gas, relax. It doesn't have to be that intense, but you want it to be that intense. You want it to be this intense. 10 of Wands. Okay, so the 10 of Wands in reversal. This is burnout. This is burnout. So, what the energy, the story being presented in this spread is like there were financial promises that were like right within your grasp that you thought that you would get, and things aren't going the way you thought they would based on a decision that you made that you thought was the right decision and it's wrong, and you're beating yourself up about it, and you're like you're throwing your own salt on your own wounds, and you're going to just mentally tax yourself. Don't loosen your grasp, let it go, kumbaya, sing a song, take some breaths, take it down a couple notches. Okay, I'm going to do another card flip for this. So let's look at the shadow card. Let's look at what's underneath this that maybe can give us some positive affirmation for Princess of Cups. Getting in touch with your emotional truth and working on calming those waters is really important. And the important lesson underneath all of this to bring you some balance. There might be good news coming too. Again, not all messages, even when they look bad, you don't necessarily know the mind of the universe. You don't necessarily know where even a bad message will take you. If you are not finding good in any of this, or it's all feeling a little bit dark and hopeless, I want to encourage you to consider creating an abundance practice, to create a gratitude practice, to start to write down one sentence a day of something that felt good. And as you train your neural pathways to find things that are working and that are positive, you will begin to see more positive that's in the world. And I don't mean that. I do not mean that to say ignore the bad and just be not toxic positivity. But it's a practice of saying, what else is there besides my anxiety? It is choosing the power of choice to bring your focus to something that is working instead of only looking at the things that are not and that are keeping you up at night. So feel your feelings and be truthful with it, live with it, sit with it, journal about it, doom scroll about it, write messages about it. But know that the doom scrolling and the sadness isn't the only message. There is still positivity happening in the world, should you choose to pursue it. If you're finding this reading useful, please consider liking and subscribing. Earth signs, that's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This is your read. Your question came up in the career position. You at present, the Six of Wands reversed. Your obstacle, the Lovers reversed. What crowns you, the Queen of Wands reversed. What grounds you, the Ace of Cups reversed. The energy you're moving away from, the Moon reversed. The energy you're moving toward, the Queen of Swords. How you feel about the situation, the Four of Swords. Your environment and how others see the situation, the Six of Pentacles reversed. Your hopes and fears, the Five of Swords reversed. And the ultimate outcome is the Devil reversed. Something that jumps out to me in this spread, and I am using a little of my own judgment call because I used the Queen of Pentacles as a signifier for the earth signs, would be that there are basically three queens that appear in this spread. We have the Queen of Wands and we have the Queen of Swords. What this tells me is in relation to your work and your career, there might be a sisterhood or a female alliance that you might want to lean into and cultivate in order to move forward in some career-related endeavor that you are curious about. The other thing I find striking about this particular spread as it pertains to the artwork is that the obstacle of the Lovers also seems to appear in the background of the Queen of Swords. So it's always interesting to consider how the artwork also affects the message and how it interplays with your particular nuances. So to begin with, we have the Six of Wands reversed. And again, we're talking about career right now. The Six of Wands is about victory. And in the reversal position, it indicates that victory might be delayed. So you might be wondering, why didn't I get that promotion? Why didn't I get what I wanted? Why wasn't I able to walk in this parade? This might have been particularly disappointing because you really thought you had done a really good job. The Lovers, by the way, in career does not necessarily mean that there's like love in the workplace. It's just This literally indicates maybe a connection with something or with someone you really thought you had something dialed in that was going to take you to the next level. And maybe it just didn't quite work out. Over the top of all of this is this Queen of Wands reverse. And in the reversal position, there's almost kind of a darkness to her eyes. So if the queens here don't represent an alliance that you have, it could also represent competition from other people that maybe didn't have your best interest at heart. Maybe they were vying for the same position that you wanted, or you're so good that they don't want to let you go, or whatever it is. But maybe something is standing in your way. A fiery person is standing in your way and kind of blocking you and oppressing your progression. Alternatively, it could speak to the fact that perhaps you pushed too hard. Maybe you were too fiery and it just wasn't the right fit. It's like you wanted something that was fitting a square peg into a round hole. It just wasn't going to work. And you're really bummed about it. It's really sad. You put a lot of emotional energy into this. You put just a lot of heart and spirit and soul into this thing that you really wanted to have happen. And it didn't. And that sucks. But don't let the heartbreak of things, just don't let disappointments that other people put you through hold you back from still remaining true to your heart, true to the things that you believe in. I know as an earth sign, it's really hard to have your hopes and dreams crushed, particularly as it pertains to your career, because earth signs are very work oriented and they do a really good job. And it's really hard when they don't get what they want. But there's a learning curve to this. The moon reversed says to us that there are deeper things in our own psyche, deeper karmic lessons, deeper life lessons at play that you have to be willing to look at to go there. And there might have been things that you didn't either take seriously, you didn't want to take on, that just you didn't want to make it a priority, but there are still things that the universe is saying, or your boss is saying, or whatever is saying, no, you really have to learn this. You don't get to just script by this lesson. You don't get to just not know how to do this. If you want to level up, if you want that victory, there's still work to be done and a deeper level that you have to get to, a deeper level of understanding in order to move into that thing that you're trying to go after. I will say, though, that I think what you are moving toward, you will be in your boss era. It's just not going to happen right now. And just because it's not right now doesn't mean it's never going to happen. Remember, we talked about this obstacle. The Lover's card is mimicked in the Queen of Swords. So in the back of your mind, you're always going to be like holding a grudge. You're still going to be mad. You're going to be still irritated years later when you get what you want, that this thing, didn't work out. So far be it from me to tell an earth sign not to hold a grudge, but as much as you can, try to let this go. It's not going to be the end of the world. You're going to get to where you're going. It's just a little bit delayed. Present, you're going to rest. You put out a lot of work. You're sad. You are going to go, this is like spa day. You just need to be with your friends, sipping on whatever you're sipping on, talking about whatever you need to talk about. Just go and reconnect with the people that make you feel good and put this other stuff by the wayside. The environment around you shows people that are going to feel charitable toward you. Whatever happened, I think other people also understand that this was foolishness and that they see how hard you work, how much you give, how much you care, and they want to help you get to the other side. If your friend wants to take you out to lunch to decompress about whatever the situation was, let them do it. Like, let yourself just let go of stuff and just have a fun weekend, or do things to get whatever the immediacy of the circumstances out of your mind. Enjoy your friendship. Let people treat you. You deserve it. You don't have to hold the world up for everyone else. Hopes and fears, the Five of Swords. You're so mad. You are so mad, and you feel like you were lied to and you feel like you were screwed over. I'm telling you, this grudge is going to run deep for whatever this situation was that happened. But with the Five of Swords reversed, people are going to be people. Conflict will arise. This too shall pass. And you are going to move on. So the Devil card is widely misunderstood. The devil and death scare everybody. Don't be scared. The devil's really about the golden handcuffs. It is the ways in which we chain ourselves to things that don't serve us. And upside down, the beautiful thing with the devil reversed is this is the chains falling off. They're so big around people's necks, right side up, it entraps them. It keeps them stuck to the ground and stuck to this thing holding them. Upside down, those chains fall off. So by reconnecting to your friends, by allowing yourself to be treated by people who love you and, treating yourself the way you want to be treated, you can free yourself from a lot of things. If someone was trying to trap you or tamp you down or get in your way from what you want to achieve, they can't. You're about to throw those chains right on off. So I think that this is quite positive. I know it's annoying now. I know you're mad and upset if this pertains to you, if this resonates with you. But you're going to come into a much happier situation. Our shadow card underneath it, Queen of Cups, there's that third queen. Yeah, I think that there's like a female alliance. There's an issue of like femininity and female power. Maybe someone was being sexist. Maybe there was an issue of sexism and you didn't get something you wanted with your career because someone was being a pig about it. But don't worry, chains are coming off. You're going to grow into the most powerful version of you. You got this. If this reading resonates with you, please like and subscribe. And last but not least for this read, fire signs. That will be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Let's do your read. The theme for you seems to be about community, politics, and social justice. Your present, Three of Cups reverse. Your obstacle, Prince of Wands upright. What crowns you, Princess of Swords, reverse. What grounds you, Three of Wands, reverse. Energy you're moving away from, Five of Wands, reverse. Energy you're moving toward, the Tower. How you feel about the situation, the King of Pentacles, reverse. Your environment and how others feel about the situation, Nine of Cups. Your hopes and fears, the Seven of Swords, reversed. Your ultimate outcome, the Eight of Pentacles, reversed. So the most immediate thing that I see when I look at this spread is the number of reversals. It feels like there's a lot of blockages, maybe a lot of holding yourself back. My sense in a broad overview of this spread is that long-held beliefs that you've had have been slowly getting stripped away and kind of sloughed off. But there is a moment coming where whatever doesn't serve you, whatever thought processes you've had that you've taken as absolute truth with a T that are going to fall away. They have to. We have to make room. The universe must make room for your new growth. So let's look at the spread a little bit more deeply. Our immediate situation, we have the Three of Cups reversed, and our obstacle is the Prince of Wands. The Three of Cups reversed indicates that there's a lack of boundaries. There's an overindulgence. At its worst, it can also represent three as a crowd. And with a character of the Prince of Wands, who's like kind of the young, hot guy in the obstacle position, it gives me the feeling that there was either kind of infidelity in the picture, which actually came up in your reading for June as well. But there's still something to do. There's this message of really needing to manage your boundaries well, manage your consumption of whatever that is mindfully, and not staying so stuck on obsessing about this person who was like the one that got away so much that it's damaging you. If they're in the obstacle, missing them or longing for them or being upset about something to do with them is kind of driving you to hide in your sorrow and hide your woes about them because like you're trying so hard to get your mind off of this person. What's crowning the situation is this Princess of Swords. So this has to do, and we pulled the Page of Swords last month too. So interesting to me to see kind of recurring themes of cards in a totally different deck that were discussed last time. Over the top of this, there's like a lot of gossip. There's a lot of chatter. It's the negative side of communication. It can also represent fighting too soon, like just kind of like cutting your sword through the air, but you don't even know how to use it. So you're like cutting trees and you're like cutting yourself and you're cutting other things around you. And it's just like, just blades everywhere. And it's like, what are you doing, buddy? Like you don't even know how to use that thing. Maybe there's just been too much chatter, too much gossip, too much talking. And you're just like, I need to numb out the world however it is that I can. But unfortunately, in doing that, you're blocking expansion into your journey. Like you have a whole life to live. this person, don't let this thing, this person, this circumstance, this exciting moment, this exciting individual block you from what it is that you need to do. And the fact that, so the Three of Wands reversed is right under the Three of Cups reverse, right? It's like there's all this luxuriating kind of happening and partying happening, but it's unfortunately taking you away from your internal fire, from the thing that you were driving toward. And no one's worth that. There's just no one, there's no one that should knock you off of your course quite that much. Don't let them do it. We're moving out of competition. So it's the Five of Wands in reversal. You might have been feeling very competitive with someone around you and lost the battle. If that has to do with this person that's the obstacle, maybe there was a relationship dissolution and it was like you wanted to battle for this person or this thing you wanted and you lost and you're like so upset about it. It's so heartbreaking. It's so cataclysmic to everything you thought you understood about yourself and your relationship, how you thought you walked through the world. Like suddenly, who are you without this individual? Who are you if they don't choose you? Well, there's so much more to life than that. You're going to have an opportunity to be filled with completely new ideas. I'll say this about the tower. So the fable behind the tower, which I rather like, is, of course, it's like the building is falling and there's fire everywhere and it's like chaos. But from the collapse of the building, there's fresh ground that is exposed. And then new seeds are planted into this ground and new things can bloom and grow out of it. And no, it is not the same tower. It will not be built in the same fashion. That tower, that moment is gone. But that doesn't mean that what is going to replace it isn't also beautiful and it's different and it still can stand tall, even if it's not the castle. Does it have to be a castle to still be meaningful? Does it have to be a castle to still be beautiful? Maybe it doesn't have to be the most maximalist dream thing to still have great karmic meaning for your life and give you insights for you to understand and insights and things that your soul needs to understand in this manifestation. How you feel about it. The King of Pentacles reverse. It's expensive. We talked about expenses last month too. I'm kind of blown away at how parallel this reading is to what we looked at. And feel free, the June read is still up on YouTube if you want to look at that. You might be feeling very disconnected from coin right now. A lot of money maybe taken out of your pocket, or there might be issues of finances where you really have to buckle down and pull back on certain financial things because of everything else that's been going on. But other people around you, the Nine of Cups, the hopes and wishes card, which is quite beautiful, there's still a lot of emotional fulfillment to come through for you. I mean, this is really apples to apples what the June read was. This is nuts. Around you is so much love and care and friendship and family and new things that can come into your life that your environment is conspiring to bring to you because of the cataclysm that has happened. And these blessings might only be able to happen and to come through to you because something else ended. When one door closes, another one will open. Your hopes and fears, I'm afraid, I feel like you're very afraid of the white lies. You're afraid of being lied to again. You're afraid of the fibbing. You're afraid of the gossip. You're afraid that people are saying one thing and doing another. And, you know, that's valid because it would seem that kind of over the top of all this, the chatter certainly isn't helping the situation. It's probably making you feel even more isolated right now. But there are people and situations in your life which can be very positive and that will not be lying and deceit and that. And trust that you have the discernment to know what those differences are and know the differences between those people. And if you're doubting that, take time to meditate on it, to discern who it is that's in your camp, who it is that is not, and create those structured boundaries to protect yourself. You deserve to protect yourself. The ultimate outcome with all of this, the Eight of Pentacles in reversal, hard time finding the desire to create a pathway forward. It's going to be asked of you to do a lot of clerical work, to do a lot of work in general. There's something that you have to look at and work on that you're like, I don't want to, but you must. You must. It's part of it. Part of the tear down that's happening is opening up room. And let's try to write this card by saying, you know what? I'm going to do one thing a day that works toward resolving this. I'm going to do one thing a day that moves me toward the journey that I need to go down. I'm not going to block it. I'm not afraid of it. I mean, I have to look at it. I've got no choice. One thing a day by day. It doesn't, Rome was not built in a day. You don't have to do everything in 2 hours. Okay. Don't do everything in 2 hours. It's not possible. Just take it day by day and as it comes and allow fresh insight to come to you, allow good things to come to you. There are people that do want to help you. Let's look at the shadow card, Queen of Cups. It did pull in the reversal position. So underneath this connect to your emotional life, your intuition is blocked right now. There might be just you just don't want to hear it. You just don't want to think about it. You don't even want intuition. You're like, I don't like my intuition because my intuition is telling me things that hurt and I don't want to know. He's waiting for you to get in touch with her to help you find the joy, to find the happiness, to lead you toward productive ways forward, fulfilling ways forward. Trust that when one thing comes down, another thing is built in its place. Thank you so much for joining me for this month's reading. Remember, you have the power to work with these energies consciously. The cards show us possibilities, not certainties. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your intuition above all else. If you found this helpful, I'd love for you to like, share, or comment with what resonated most for you. And I'll see you next month for another poll. Until then, trust yourself and move with intention. Take care.